Welcome to the start of another Planet Doug video, and I think this is going to be another video that just documents some random moments from my days. So this video might be spread out over 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, I'm not quite sure. But I'm starting it right now, a very unusual time because it's almost midnight on Saturday night. And I'm starting the video now because a friend of mine and a Planet Doug supporter just sent me a message and said there is a food delivery on the way, which is very welcome news because I've hardly eaten all day. I've been busy all day and I didn't stop. I didn't take the time to have much to eat today, so I'm actually really hungry. So right now, yeah, I'm all dressed and I've got the GoPro fired up because my phone is going to ring at any minute, and then I have to head downstairs and pick up some food. And the hint is that there's rice involved. Beyond that, I don't know what the food is going to be, so it's going to be a bit of a surprise. This is what the GoPro looks like, by the way, in case you're curious. I have it mounted on this neck collar deal, and then the microphone is here down below it. But yeah, looking at myself in the mirror, this eye is really, really sore. You can see how red it is. I don't know why, but I'm having trouble seeing out of that eye. It's getting late at night for me. It's very unusual to have a meal after midnight. You're not supposed to feed gremlins after midnight, are you? Maybe you're not supposed to feed me after midnight either. But hey, yeah, I'm hungry. Looking forward to this meal when it arrives. All right, the big moment has arrived. Just got a call. And there's some food waiting for me downstairs. Yeah, it works out really well here, simply because people tend to speak English quite well. So when my phone rings and I answer it, it's just a simple matter to communicate. All right, okay. Thank you very much for you. Have a good night. Oh, there it is. This is going to be so nice. Very, very exciting. And there's, yeah, KL at night. Yeah, there go the police patrolling. It's very rare to see police cars here, I find. Not a common sight to see them out patrolling. Yeah, coming down here, I had to think quickly all of a sudden. It's like you leave your hotel room and you're in a rush. It's so easy to forget your room key, then you can't get back inside. But they have two cards here, one for your room and one for the outer door. So you have to make sure you bring both. Yeah, there's many stages to these operations. Dinner time. Yeah, I had breakfast this morning. I met up with a Planet Doug subscriber for breakfast at 9 o'clock this morning. Had a chicken chop at Utki, and yeah, that's the only meal I've had today, so I'm actually pretty hungry. And I always do a silly thing here because you have to use a card to get in, and I'm so used to using my Touch and Go card. I keep trying to open the door with my Touch and Go card. I keep forgetting that there's an actual room key. There we go. And I keep running into trouble because you have to put the card in to get electricity, and I'm always leaving my room, and then I leave behind a smartphone, GoPro batteries, all kinds of things to be charging, and I keep forgetting that when I pull this out, of course, all the electricity goes off. So I come back and none of the batteries are actually charged. But yeah, let me get settled in and I'll show you well, we'll find out together what the food is. All right, here we go. Where did it come from? It came from Shawarma City. Shawarma City Trading. Wow. And yeah, grab food. Says cutlery, no. But I have my own cutlery, so if there is no cutlery, that's not a problem. It's nasi mandi chicken. So yeah, sliced mandi. Ooh. Very exciting. Maybe this is a sort of thing one should do as a live stream. But yeah, I haven't been able to schedule live streams here because I've had trouble verifying my Google account since I moved from Vietnam to Malaysia. Still working through that issue. We'll get that figured out eventually. I have to prove to Google that I am who I say I am. Not always an easy thing to do. And the last time I had a food delivery, I couldn't open the bag, the knot either. They tie them up pretty tight. So we're gonna have to tear this open without making a mess. All right. So stay step by step. We've got some sauce here. I actually have one of my t-shirts laid out as a tablecloth down here on the bed. Wow, that's a very nice presentation. Look at that. Oh, that looks amazing. That looks so good. Shawarma chicken rice, or Shawarma City chicken rice. That's quite the package. Oh, let me grab my GoPro for just a second, and yeah, just a close-up of what's going on here. Like I said, there's the packaging. And now we have to, there we go, comes off. So there's the name of the place, Shawarma City, Shawarma City, since 2020. Oh, it smells so good. And if I'm not mistaken, isn't that kind of a biryani rice with a sliced chicken, some veggies, and I'm guessing that's a yogurt kind of sauce, and then a sauce here. So let me get some cutlery, and then we'll dive in. My cutlery bag, fork, and spoon. There's often chopsticks and various items. Oh yeah, there's some chopsticks in here. If I'm ever out at a restaurant or whatever and I end up with extra stuff, like extra chopsticks, I just toss it into my cutlery bag. And I started this trip ages ago. I had this really nice set of plastic forks and spoons that I really like. I've used them for years and years and years. But one time I was camping out in the Philippines years ago, I guess, but kind of on this same trip. And then I had a tent, and then I guess I left my cooking set outside during the day. I was actually camping inside the grounds of a hotel. So I was feeling a little bit safer than I would normally. But then when I got back to my tent, all my cutlery was gone, all my cooking gear. Someone had come along and just taken it all. So since then, I just picked up a regular metal spoon and fork, and that's what I've been carrying with me. Okay. Yeah, there isn't a lot of space in this room because it is a small room and it's single, and there's really no furniture in here. So I'm on the bed, and you have to be very careful when it comes to this because the bed has a white fitted sheet on it, and you don't want to spill on the fitted sheet. That's why I have my t-shirt set up as a tablecloth. Let's see what this is, this sauce. Very strong, very spicy. A lot of flavor. That is packing a punch. And then down here is the this white sauce. Yeah, yogurt. Very nice. Really nice. And then the yogurt goes with the salad. I'm so hungry. So this is going to be sauced up. Let's get our sauce here. I think this is going to get a lot of saucing up. I'm just going to put all of this on here. I'm in the mood for flavor. I want a flavor sensation, so that's all getting on there. Nice. Yeah, this particular dish, it needs the sauce, I think, because they didn't add, there's not a lot of spicing on the chicken or in the rice. So yeah, the more sauce, the better. And I think this goes with all of that really nicely. The combination of the spice, the yogurt, and the rice. That is really nice. So I'm going to sort of turn off the GoPro now and just sort of enjoy the meal. I have my little empire going on around me. The last few days, I've been doing all of my video editing on this smartphone and on this one, so I go back and forth. So this evening I've been editing a video on this smartphone, and right now it's busy uploading a video. One thing I miss about Vietnam as well is the uploading speeds there. The Wi-Fi in the hotels was unbelievably fast, much faster than in Malaysia. So here, when I'm uploading a video to YouTube, it tends to take a long time. So I leave this phone on all night in order for it to finish uploading. It's going relatively quickly here. This hotel has good Wi-Fi, but it's still going to take the whole night in order to finish uploading that video. In Vietnam, it would take like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, a big video, many gigabytes. It uploads so fast, it's kind of crazy. But today, I had a really fun experience because the reason I'm editing on a smartphone is that my MacBook broke down when I was in Vietnam. And I honestly mentally just said goodbye to the MacBook because I'd heard so many stories about how expensive it is to repair. And there were so many things wrong with the MacBook. I thought, okay, that's the end of that. But I brought it into a little shop here that I found out about by accident. And I dropped it off yesterday. I think it was yesterday. And then they called me that night, or maybe it was 2 days ago. I think it was like 1 day ago. And they fixed it. So I picked it up today. But I still have a whole bunch of videos already loaded onto the phone that I'm in the middle of editing. So I'm going to complete them editing on the phone, and then I'm going to go back to the MacBook. So anyway, that's what's going on over here. Late night dinner. So it's after midnight. So we'll see what happens to me if you feed me after midnight. So thank you very much to my Planet Doug supporter. This was ordered for me all the way from India, believe it or not. So using an app in India, you can order food in KL and have it delivered to me. That's amazing. Yeah, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. New shirt means it's a new day, and it is early in the morning. This is actually 2 mornings after my midnight biryani feast. I was busy with some other things yesterday that maybe I'll talk about later on. And I'm continuing with the pattern of just sort of documenting little moments of my days, sort of days of running errands, meeting up with people, things like that. And I've got 2 meetups happening right now. I'm on my way to a very well-known, well, I guess sort of well-known coffee shop called Wong Mee. It's in an alleyway here in this neighborhood. And I'm meeting Daryl from Wander Eats there for breakfast. And then after that breakfast, I'm heading on to meet up with Matthew. And Matthew's a friend of mine here in Kuala Lumpur. He's helped me out a lot on my various journeys and things in Malaysia. And I'm meeting up with Matthew for coffee, perhaps for lunch, and then a movie. We're actually going to see, I guess it's called a Deadpool versus Wolverine, or Deadpool and Wolverine. See what that's all about. I know both characters very well. I've watched all their movies, but I don't really understand the connection between them, why they would be in a movie together. And they have to fight each other, right? And yet they're both superheroes, so they're both technically good guys. So I'm curious to see how the writers come up with a storyline that gets these 2 heroes to fight each other. And then, of course, in movies like this, the 2 heroes that fight each other often end up teaming up by the end and fighting a common enemy. So I'm kind of curious how the writers come up with that storyline as well. And yeah, so that's it. Meeting Daryl for coffee. Masjid Jamak over there, and the Klang River and the Gombak rivers. These are both major landmarks here in my neighborhood. The Wong Mee Cafe where I'm meeting Daryl is maybe 10-11 minutes walk away from here. I'm not quite awake yet, so if I'm babbling and not making any sense, just hang in there with me. I assume I'll wake up soon. Maybe Daryl will wake me up. We'll have some good food and a cup of cham or something like that. So yesterday was Sunday, and because it was Sunday, camera stores, places like that were all closed. So I wasn't out running a lot of errands, trying to get things repaired. But that was okay because I had my MacBook back. That was quite the adventure. And it's up and running. I had it operating most of yesterday. And, oh, check this out. Little snail coming up out of the river. I'm not sure I've seen too many of these walking when I've been walking alongside the river. I'm sure my GoPro is doing a fantastic job of close focusing on the snail. But it's actually quite a small one. Those snails I know can get quite large. But yeah, he would have made quite a journey, I assume, if he was down by the water at some point, and then climbed all the way up this wall, perhaps. So yeah, I don't know. I see a lot of birds. It feels like a snail like that would be a really good snack for a bird. Or maybe not. That's why they have this shell. But yeah. There's the Klang River. Moving pretty fast, but it's very low right now. Low water levels. Hey there, bird. So I was just saying that the repair to my MacBook, so far it's holding, but it does do one really weird thing that freaks me out. I started using it, I always have it sitting on my lap as I'm sitting on the bed. And then it's cold, of course, when I turn it on. And then after maybe 15 minutes, I don't really know, I haven't really tracked the timing, as it warms up, at one point, there's always now a bang. It's like, it feels and it sounds to me like there's something in the computer that as the temperature rises, like maybe a piece of plastic that's expanding, and then it reaches a point where it snaps into a new position or something. Anyway, you don't want your laptop making sounds like that, even if it's just plastic popping as it heats up. It doesn't feel right. It makes me nervous and it happens regularly. Maybe not every time, but it happens often enough that I've really noticed the pattern, and this loud pop as something snaps into place. I keep thinking, yeah, okay, this laptop is not long for this world. The guys who fixed it for me, I guess they found a capacitor. They told me it was an IC chip, but since then people have told me, no, that's not an IC is an integrated circuit. You don't cut it out of the motherboard. And I showed what that thing looked like that they replaced, and people are telling me, well, that's a capacitor. So they found a capacitor that maybe was involved in the power supply, and they replaced that. So that's how they got the MacBook running again. But I can't shake this feeling that it's not long for this world, that this is more of a stopgap measure, and that it's still going to keep dying on me. But who knows? We'll see. Yeah, I'm having lots of fun with the keyboard. Here comes Kuala Jaya line, taking people to work on a Monday morning commute. But yeah, more and more of the keys on my keyboard are snapping off. What I've been doing is, like, there are certain keys I don't use that often, and then all the letter keys, they're the ones that are breaking, and every time one of them breaks, like it snaps off, I find another key that I don't use, like a special character, and then I pop it off and switch it with the letter. And then when I ran out of those, I started moving the numbers, because I can sort of, I don't use the numbers as often as the letters. So, but now my keyboard is a complete jumble. Nothing matches what it's supposed to be. So I type on the number 2 and I get the letter L, that sort of thing. Luckily, I'm a touch typist, so I don't usually have to look. But anyway, it's getting a little bit out of control. And in the modern day and age, of course, when you're constantly typing in passwords and things, I'm often making mistakes, because I have all letters where the numbers should be, and I'm trying to type in a password, and I think I'm getting it right. I have to count over from the left. Okay, where's number 5? 1, 2, 3. This one must be number 5, but I accidentally type a 6 or something. Anyway, so one of my errands today or tomorrow will be to find some kind of stickers. I think I have to relabel all my keys, so I'm going to find some small stickers I can put on there, and I can start writing the letters and the numbers down. Maybe that will solve the problem. I'm down around Pasar Station, Lavana Hotel, and over here I believe that's a travel lodge, a big travel lodge, I think. Yeah. And every time I come by here, I can't help but comment on my old hostel. Was right here, this top floor, this white building. I lived there for a long time, mainly because it was a friendly backpacker, old school hostel run by a very charismatic, very nice guy. It was called the Bird's Nest many, many years ago. And it was also the most inexpensive place you could find in Kuala Lumpur back in those days. But yeah, it's looking like it's completely gone now. I'm looking through the windows up there. It looks like it's been cleared out, like they're tearing out the interior, and it's completely gone. I'm not sure what they're going to turn it into. And the door, there used to be, it changed names. It used to be Bird's Nest, and then it became Natalia's, and had different owners and different names. But now, as you can see, the door here, nothing on it at all. So yeah, it looks like they've, no, it's the same door, but all the signage is gone. So an end of an era, that's for sure. The end of an era. And Wong Mee should be right here, right around the corner. I just got a message from Daryl confirming or asking me, am I really coming for lunch or not, or for breakfast or not, because it was a little bit in doubt. I've been so tired lately, and to be honest, I'm really tired this morning again. So, but I sent him a message and said, yes, I will be there. And there's my favorite building. And Wong Mee will be right here in this alleyway. It's famous. I don't know why it's famous at the moment. It's just been here forever. And I don't see Daryl yet. I don't think he's there. Yeah, a little bit of that KL street art. You see more and more of this now all over the city. Yeah, this is new actually. I don't think I've seen this before. This wall used to have a different style of painting on it. And yeah, I just noticed some graffiti off to the right. People destroying it with ugly graffiti, but hey, one of my many pet peeves. They have a pretty typical set of items that they serve here. The kaya toast, eggs, coffee. It's a very typical Malaysian breakfast. Soft boiled eggs like that, very popular with the bread. That's the kind of coffee that you get here. Another sample. These are all pictures from Google Maps. And there's one dish here that I think I remember I had before. I quite liked it. So there's their menu of some other things. It's down here, this one here. Right there at the bottom corner. I'm not quite sure what it is anymore. Hey, I don't have to shoot any video. I could just take video Google Maps. That's exactly what it looks like. It's exactly where I am. More kaya toast. And where's the meal I'm looking for? That's the nearby temple. Chi Chong Fun, that's very good. And we're almost there. I remember there it is right there. So that I'm gonna get one of those, but I can't remember what it's called. Daryl will know, of course. He'll be here any minute to save me. Yeah, let's do hot. There's the man of the hour, Daryl. He showed up. We discussed food, and he's going over there to place the order, which makes sense because he's the expert. Yeah, so yeah, I looked up the name of that dish. It's like glutinous sticky rice with chicken, and the Chinese name is something like lo gai mai, something like that. So I'm getting one of those, getting a big dumpling and hot coffee or hot cham, whatever it is that they have. And Daryl's busy doing some impromptu recording with his smartphone as well. So we're gonna have a dueling recording going on. The day is not off to a great start for Planet Doug. I forgot to hit record.
It is recording?
I just hit record now.
Okay, I can't see it.
The food arrived. We talked about it. I unveiled my glutinous sticky rice with chicken. It comes in this aluminum thing, and I showed it off, and I dumped it out, and none of that was recorded. You'll just have to imagine how amazing all of that was. But Daryl got it on his phone, so yeah.
I've been here so many times, I never featured this place. Maybe I wanted to keep it a secret, but hey, so today is the day I'm doing a little bit of recording.
Cool. And I love they don't stand on ceremony when it comes to serving the coffee. Yeah. He's walking across and it's just sort of like sloshing all over the place. It's like, here's your coffee. We're not dealing with frou-frou elegance here. This is local life.
One thing for sure, there's only two of them, so his wife needs to help out, but she stopped, I think, from what I heard after the COVID. She stopped working here. retired, and they used to serve Chi Chiong Fan, but it was served made by her, the wife. And since she retired, it's no longer in the menu as well.
Oh. Strong coffee.
Yeah.
Very strong.
Chum, by the way.
Is it chum?
Yeah.
Sure tastes like coffee to me.
Alright.
I wasn't getting the chum flavor like we had at 8 Toast.
Oh, I see.
That had maybe because it was iced. Maybe that's part of the reason. But it was maybe I just haven't stirred or something.
Yeah.
Yours looks different. Looks a little bit milkier than mine.
Oh. Use up some chili. Oh.
Now we need the make Sean jealous shot. Oh no, I have to see. I gotta spin this. Oh no, I had it. Come on. It's not really wide enough.
Yeah.
But did it take a picture?
Yeah, it did.
I wasn't even paying attention.
My turn.
Oh, look at that. Looks so much better than mine.
Takes 3.
Ah, I see. Sweet.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it is sweet.
It's actually a sweet dish.
Yeah.
Mushrooms and chicken. You're not going to get a nicer little breakfast than this. It's almost like dessert.
Yeah.
It's that sweet. Surprised. I don't remember it being so sweet.
Well, this chili is sweet.
It's also sweet?
Yeah, the chili.
Oh, sweet chili.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers to you. There you go.
It is nice though. I think I stirred it up. There was some milk, a little bit of sweetener, a little bit of milk
Condensed milk.
at the bottom. So yeah, it's tasting better. Not quite as bitter. Still doesn't taste like champ to me, but
Okay.
more like coffee. But what do I know? So what prompted the smartphone revival?
Revival?
For shooting video.
Oh no, I just want to test with this. That's all.
Oh.
The only issue is that you can't switch the cameras around while you're recording. I mean, because I have to be in pro mode to get this working.
Okay.
Unlike the normal video mode, where you can zoom in, zoom out, using the 3 lenses.
Okay.
That's why you can't.
But you can't do that in pro mode.
Yeah.
Well, so what happens when you do? I don't get the problem.
I need to be in pro mode because pro mode allows you to select the audio source.
Okay.
Which is for this. But once you're in pro mode, because it's pro, everything is, you have to set everything up. And when you hit record, it's fixed to that.
Okay.
So you can't switch around the lenses and all that.
Oh, you can't switch around while you're recording.
Yeah, correct.
But you can stop recording,
Yes, and then
change
switch,
it.
change.
Okay, it's not a deal breaker.
No, it's not.
I would rarely change anything mid-recording anyway, right? At least
I do.
Yeah? What do you change? Like, while it's still recording, you're changing things?
Yeah. Sometimes I go into a 3 zoom, or 5, or then I go into ultra wide and go back to main, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
That way, at least I don't have to meddle with the we need editing later, something like that. But it is destructive as well, so it's got pro and cons. This way, I have to stop and start. I have a lot of files.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You talk about that, Sean. He talks about. He's very concerned about that. It never even occurred to me because he talks about the ability to you're recording and then you decide, oh, this is a mistake.
Yeah.
Delete it.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why that matters.
Yeah.
Like I'll end up with 100 files at the end of it, and some of them I use, some of them I don't use. I don't like deleting them in the moment. Doesn't seem to me like any kind of an advantage, but I guess it depends how you think, how you shoot.
Yeah, how you shoot. I use it, but not like Sean. But I use it because sometimes when I'm saying something and I lost track, you know, it's like shit. I want to start again. And that's when the delete button helps. Other than that, I don't.
But yeah. But why not?
Just continue talking, right?
You could just continue talking, or you start and stop, and now you've just got an extra file. I don't know. I think the GoPro can do that too.
Yeah,
you can delete it, but it's never occurred to me to like why bother. I just
keep things more organized, I guess.
Yeah. I guess. Maybe it's that organization, which is why you guys are so fast compared to me.
It is fast. My God, it is fast. I have a trick on my PC, which is when I load my files in there, which is why it's not such a big deal for me. And then, but it has to be on PC. It can't be on the phone. I think it can, but then I transfer the files to my PC. Then from my PC, the file explorer, right? I just sort by the smallest file size.
Okay.
Usually my smallest file size are mistakes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I guess I just leave my mistakes there. It's like like all the files are in order by number, file number, and by time.
Yep.
And I take the folder, dump the whole folder in DaVinci Resolve. All the files are there, and I just grab the ones I want. The ones I don't want, I leave them there. So I don't know. They don't get in my way. But I'm working on the Saigon water bus video right now.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's so long ago, I forgot how nuts it was because I recorded with my GoPro while walking there, but I also had the Hero 9 on the neck mount. So I was doing the two video at the same time. So syncing up the audio track and the video track. And then the GoPro 12 kept overheating on the way.
Okay.
So I had to keep switching. It's like, oh shoot, it shut down again. Now I switched to this one.
Wow.
Normally if you're editing like the next day or something, you remember, but now I don't remember. So I'm editing the Hero 12 video and I was like, for Pete's sake, I didn't record that. Why didn't? Because there's one point I'm out of the river and I look down the river and I say, wow, look at that scene down there. Yeah. And then I jump ahead to I'm on the boat practically. And I was like,
what happened in between?
What? And I was like, oh, for Pete's sake, did I delete the file? And I'm looking at the file numbers, I'm researching, I'm investigating. It's like, oh, no. And then I was like,
yes.
I switched to the Hero 9. And then I was on the boat and I was shooting with the 360 camera and the Hero 12 and the Hero 9.
Wow.
And so I'm just like, how do I? Then I have a separate audio from the road in another folder in case there's an audio dropout. And then I've got the relive folder with all the photos.
My God.
So by the time I was done just organizing and refreshing my memory, it's like, okay, now I can finally start adding things to the timeline. I forgot just how complicated that day became.
Yeah.
I already took one bite out of it, but the inside is some sort of bean, right? Bean paste? What's in there?
Pork, actually.
It's pork?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pork. But it's sweet as well.
Right, okay, yeah. Nice. Again, sweeter than I expected. Everything here. In retrospect, combining these two may not have been the best choice. Sweet and sweet. Something like Daryl got would have been a better combination, maybe. But what do I know? Nothing. I know nothing about nothing.
There's always next time.
Yeah.
Another chance to get it right.
Yeah.
First foreigner I've seen here, besides you. And Jamie.
Yeah. But we told Jamie about this, or you did, right? You told Jamie. Did I?
I think you came with him first.
Maybe.
Yeah. That's what you told me, I remember.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know a bunch of Jamies now.
Oh.
I have to keep them itemized.
So, full day for you. Which movie are you watching? Wolverine.
Yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Matthew's he's really into that world.
Marvel. I wanted to watch it yesterday as well.
Oh yeah.
But my kids wanted to watch Despicable Me 4 also.
In the theater?
Yeah. So we went for Despicable Me 4 instead.
Was it anything worthwhile about it? The first one was cute.
Yeah.
It was fine.
I think this one it's still entertaining, but I think it's the worst of the lot so far. But it's still entertaining. I think it's just lack of things to progress, you know,
the storyline
and things like that.
So they probably have to work really hard to come up with what else to do with Gru. That's his name, right? Gru.
Yeah, and the family and the baby. The refreshing part is the baby, of course. So that's the new member of the family.
The kids that never grow up. How many years has it been? And the baby is still exactly the same baby.
Exactly.
Not that I know. I haven't seen number 4. I'm assuming they're not growing up.
Yeah, still the same age.
Yeah, you would mess with that.
Yeah.
But I've never had kids. I don't know how kids enjoy things.
Station berikutnya, GTDI Deloitte. Next station, GTDI Deloitte. Anda akan tiba di GTDI Deloitte. Pintu di sebelah kiri akan dibuka. You are now approaching GTDI Deloitte. Exit to the left door. Pintu di sebelah kiri akan dibuka. You are now approaching Bandar Utama. Exit to the left door.
Arrived at Bandar Utama station. There's the MRT tracks behind me. Yeah, breakfast with Daryl was great. I love that little place in the alleyway. And I've arrived here way early. That's the funny thing when you ask Google Maps for directions. I often forget they're not telling you the time it's going to take just in transit. Like that doesn't tell you how long the the MRT trip is telling you door to door. So it gave me a time, but it was actually giving me a time starting at my hotel, walking to the MRT station, waiting for the next train, traveling, then walking again. It was the total trip time. But in this case, all I had to do was hop on the MRT at Pasar Seni, go like 5 stops, and I'm here. So it was a lot quicker than I anticipated, and I'm already here. So I'm gonna go find a place to sit down and hang out, do some YouTubing stuff. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm exiting in the right way. Going into the Utama shopping center. It's a big, complicated shopping center. Has an old wing and a new wing, and I often get confused between the two. Power of the touch and go to get in and out. Hello. Good morning. How are you?
Hello.
Hi. My customer number 2 today?
Yeah.
Does that make me lucky?
Yeah, I like it.
I would like a hot latte.
Hot latte.
What size?
Grande, venti.
Grande.
Grande.
Yeah, for here, hot latte.
Or you want in mug or paper cup?
Paper cup is
Paper
good.
cup.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't know if I have any money on it or not. Can you check? I forgot I had it, to be honest.
Check there. We have a 22 ringgit, 50 cents.
22?
Yeah.
Okay. So I am here at the Starbucks early. I have a few minutes, so I got a hot latte. Now, where to sit? I'm always struggling between this kind of a seating area, but you sit back away from the table, or something like this, where you're sitting right up against the table. I think I will start off with, with one of these. Nope, changed my mind already. I'm going to sit in one of these and relax. So I'm all settled in with my latte. A little bit uncomfortable though, because I've noticed this in coffee shops inside shopping malls for whatever reason. I think because they're inside a shopping mall, they think the air conditioning doesn't have to be as strong. They're going to get the air conditioning from the mall or something, but they're always really hot inside, like Starbucks at New Central. I don't go back there anymore because it's always so hot inside that Starbucks. And maybe because it just opened up, it's early in the morning. This one is really hot as well. Should have gotten an iced coffee. But yeah, this is a Starbucks Reserve, one of the nicer Starbucks around. And quite often you get a little piece of chocolate with your coffee at a Starbucks Reserve, but not this time. It is nice though. They make the best latte around for my money. They do. It's just always so hot. I don't know what their secret is. Oh, it's so hot. I love that. I'm guessing, but I should ask them how they do it, because my suspicion is that the milk in a latte at a Starbucks is preheated. Normal places I'm used to, the milk is room temperature or cold, and then they use the steamer to heat up the milk while they're making the coffee. But of course, that's never going to get it hot enough. But here, I think the milk is in some kind of a container kept at a near boil Yeah, I'm guessing because it's always so hot. And they made this latte very quickly. I thought, wow, that was fast. Nice. And I joked a little bit when I came in because it felt like they just opened up. I saw one person sitting at a table. So I suspected I might be their second customer. And whether it's true or not, I did ask. And they said, yep, you are customer number 2. And I assume that has to be lucky. The first customer of the day is very lucky. And the second, a little bit lucky too. I had the GoPro mounted on my neck harness. I feel like I'm a horse when I wear this. It feels like one of those big, thick collars that a horse would use. There's a special name for them. And the horse pulls forward on this collar. But yeah, it's a bit thick and it's a bit heavy, things like that. But it actually works really nice. And I like that you can just pull it out of your bag, pop it around your neck, and then if you have the Telesin, wrap it, the quick mount system, just clicks into place, and then you take it off and put it away. It's not such a big deal. And I have a technology story from yesterday. I mentioned earlier that all the camera stores are closed, so I can't bring lenses in to have them cleaned or anything like that. But shopping malls were open, and at long last, I bit the bullet and I bought a relatively expensive piece of gear that I've been yearning for a very long time. And now that I own it, I wonder why I didn't buy it 2 years ago, like ages ago. I should have got it ages ago when I first had the idea. And this is it right here. It's basically an external SSD drive, 1 terabyte from, SanDisk, a SanDisk SSD drive. And I've been eyeing these things for a long time because, ooh, they just turned on the air conditioner. Okay, I knew it wasn't running yet. It was way too hot in here, but it just rumbled to life. I could feel it blowing down. Okay, now I'm happy. I'm going to feel much better very soon. It's hard to enjoy a hot cup of coffee. That's one thing about an air-conditioned environment. When the air conditioner isn't working or isn't on, it's really hot because they don't also have fans, right? If they have air conditioning, why do we need fans? We have air conditioning. But you kind of need both. I love rooms that have both air conditioning and a fan. Okay, that's nice. I can feel the cold air coming down. But I spend a large amount of time copying files, for one thing. It's incredible. And I finally decided to just quit fighting it and go buy one of these yesterday because I was setting up to edit some video from Vietnam, and I have all the videos on an external hard drive, like a normal physical hard drive. And I was busy copying the files to start editing, and I was actually going to do it on my phone because I'm in the rhythm of editing on my phone. But the last folder that I was going to copy said it was going to take 3 hours to copy the files because the maximum speed I could get was 5 megabytes per second. And it was going to take 3 hours of just waiting for the files to copy onto my phone before I could even start editing. And I've been facing that problem for a long time. So I thought, okay, this is ridiculous. This is not efficient. So I finally decided to get one of these. And this one is the SanDisk Extreme, and it has a read-write speeds of around 1 gigabyte per second. So 1,000 megabytes per second, as opposed to 5. So I went out, and they're beautiful little devices. They're very cute, so small, so lightweight. And this is 1 terabyte and 1,000 megabytes per second. So I got this set up, and the other advantage to buying one of these is you can edit directly from it, because my MacBook, it has an SSD drive, but it's a very small one, so there isn't enough room to store the video files. But I can't use an external hard drive because they're too slow. You can't read files from it fast enough for video editing. But this, you can load up all of your video files on here, plug this into your computer, and you keep all of your original files on this little device. And it's so fast. It's probably almost as fast as the SSD built into the MacBook. Not quite, but close. So that's what I was going to do, and I had to copy the video files onto here. It was going to take 3 hours on my phone. On this, it took 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Zoom. It was so fast. I couldn't believe it. So it just saved me 3 hours of time buying this thing for almost 600 ringgit. So, ouch. That's an expensive purchase, just for memory, basically. But yeah, now that I've started using it, I realize I should have bought it a long time ago. The one problem with it that I'm running into is, if I can find it very quickly, and I'm not sure where I put it. Here it is. This is the cable that comes with it, and you have to use this cable because it is a special high-speed cable, and it's really short, and I think it has to be short and thick in order to handle the fast data transfer. And the way that I sit at my laptop, it's raised up off the ground. It's not sitting flat on a desk, so you have to plug this into your laptop, and now it's dangling from the computer, which is a little bit annoying. You're sort of aware of it all the time, and it's always dangling. So what I wanted to do was have a longer cable, and I do have a longer USB-C to USB-C cable, and I tried to use it, but it doesn't make a connection. I plug it in both sides, and it doesn't read this drive. You have to use a cable like this in order to use it. So, but that is life, you know, that is how things go. And it comes with an adapter. I don't have it with me, but this is USB-C to USB-C, but it also comes with an adapter, USB-C to USB-A, so you can plug it into anything. But anyway, I'm very excited about that purchase. Quick update on what's going on. Matthew came into the Starbucks, and I wasn't filming. We were just sitting, having a coffee and chatting and getting caught up on our life news. And Matthew and I are going to see a movie in like maybe an hour, Wolverine and Deadpool movie, whatever the name of it is. And we just came up to one of the upper floors at Bandar Utama for something to eat. And so there's Matthew over there. He knows his food. He knows what he likes, he knows what he wants, so he's really nice food courts here. So I haven't been in this food court before, and I just wanted something really simple. And the first thing that caught my eye was one of these chicken cutlet, sort of, I guess, Japanese style, right? These meals. And I'm not looking for anything very fancy, so I just got one of these. And Matthew's going to come track me down once he finishes his order. My meal arrived. Very simple one. You can get different sets with this. Like, I guess I just got the most basic one. And that's it. With my usual talent, I picked the worst possible table. Matthew pointed that out to me, and he brought us over here to a much better table. So here, there's a window. I wasn't aware of this area, but right here in the mall, there's some sort of a park down there. I've never seen that before. It has some walkways, wooden walkways, and yeah, it must be some sort of a outdoor recreation sort of thing, a bridge. And I just saw the train go by, MRT train went by. So I've never seen this part of the mall before, which is kind of weird. I've been here lots of times. Yeah, Matthew ordered some kind of a grilled fish specialty dish, so it's taking longer to get prepared. So thanks to Matthew, we have a much nicer place to sit. Still loud music though, so I have to shut down. Very quickly, let's take a look at what the man who understands food, what he ordered. Much better than what I ordered, obviously. So you got some sort of a fish, Matthew?
Correct. Ikan bakar, which is grilled
Ikan
fish.
bakar, yeah, it smells good.
Yeah, you can take a bit of the sauce if you want to.
Yeah, it smells good. Some rice.
And this is hand-pulled noodles.
Hand-pulled noodles. Okay.
It's from a Chinese Muslim chef from China who is a Muslim. He moves here and opened this shop. So I've tried it before, not this shop, but many. Very good. But I'm not sure if this is.
All right. So that is our lunch before the movie.
Yes.
All right, at the theater now in Bandar Utama, or One Utama shopping mall. Never heard of that film. What is that? The Wild Robot from DreamWorks. Coming soon. So just a brief look around, I guess. There's an IMAX theater here. We're not seeing the movie in IMAX. This is what we are seeing over here. Deadpool and Wolverine, I guess. I was wondering whether it was Deadpool versus or anything like that. And it's the old school Wolverine in the yellow, but that is what is going on. So Batman, The Flash. Yeah, got a little coffee shop in here. So, I won't be taking video of the movie, of course. Be putting the GoPro away before we head inside. Yeah, movie time. All right, that's it. Movie is over. And I'm back in my neighborhood. I rode the MRT all the way back to Pasar Seni and then transferred to Masjid Jamek. And I made it back just in time. I'm standing outside my hotel, and that's what's happening out there right now. A thunderstorm just hit. So a rare piece of perfect timing on my part. Thunder, lightning, the whole deal. So, the movie. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I went into, the movie I saw, of course, was Deadpool and Wolverine. And I had very low expectations. I wasn't expecting very much. And it turned out to be more entertaining than I expected. I laughed out loud. There was all the typical one-liners, some very gory R-rated violence and fighting, and fourth wall breaks, everything you would expect from a Deadpool movie. Kind of Deadpool on steroids. It was like they wrote every scene and then they went, okay, how can we make this more outrageous than it is already? So they'd rewrite it. Okay, let's all get back together tomorrow and figure out a way to make it even more outrageous. And then they ended up with this movie. In terms of the storyline and the plot, when the movie ended and I walked out of the theater, if you had asked me at that point, okay, what was the movie about? What was the story? I would have struggled. I'm not sure I could have told you because it's all timeline stuff. Timelines and the multiverse, the time variance authority, all that kind of stuff. And with that sort of storyline, you can just make up anything you want. As soon as you need to drive the plot forward, you just come up with some time travel, multiverse gobbledygook, and okay, I guess that means something. Oh, I guess that's important. Let's go do that. I mean, I knew what the story was in general terms. Timelines were under threat. Deadpool and Wolverine had to go do things in order to save this timeline or that timeline or do that because of fractures in the multiverse. All that usual gobbledygook. It doesn't really matter. It was just stuff they had to go do. And of course, if you got two main characters, two superheroes that are essentially immortal, they regenerate, well, at least you can make them fight each other a lot. So Deadpool and Wolverine can just stab each other like crazy. and they both heal. And then a few minutes later, they can have another fight and stab each other all over again. And then they heal again, right? And then they can go off and fight a bunch of other people, and a lot of cameos, a lot of characters from all over the Marvel universe, I guess. Most of them I knew. One or two, to be honest, I don't think I'd ever heard of them. I didn't know what they could do, what their powers were. So yeah. So as I said, yeah, I couldn't have told you the plot in detail. But then when I was in the MRT, I read the outline on Wikipedia. I read the plot synopsis, and I was like, okay, all right, that kind of makes sense. And once I read the Wikipedia article, I kind of had the plot in my head a little bit better. But anyway, yeah, if you're going to a movie like that, you're not going there for the story. You're not really going there to come out of it thinking about the movie. You're just going in there to laugh and have a good time. And they did their job well enough. It was funny. It was amusing. It was funnier than I expected. So it exceeded my expectations. Well, that's it. As I said, luckily I'm right outside my hotel. So I'm not caught out there in that weather, which is nice. And here we are back at my hotel right there. So, shutting down from my movie adventure. Walking backwards for a little bit right now because the sun is over there. I want the sun in my face. Same shirt, but different day. It's 9:30 in the morning the next day. This is after the Deadpool and Wolverine extravaganza day. And I'm on my way out doing errands again. This time I've got my old GoPro Hero 9 Black in my knapsack. And the problem with it is that the USB-C port doesn't work anymore. So if I plug in a microphone or the media mod, it doesn't make a connection. It's probably a lost cause, but I found a GoPro repair shop in Petaling Jaya. And I'm gonna hop on the Kelana Jaya line, go to Taman Jaya station, about a kilometer walk from there, and there's this tiny shop where a guy repairs action cameras of all varieties. It's probably very similar to where I got my MacBook worked on, a tiny shop, piled floor to ceiling with spare parts and little tools and things like that. It ought to be quite interesting to see, even if he can't fix it. And yeah, that's where we're going right now. I know here in this MRT station, there's a coffee bot machine right outside. And I'd love to grab a coffee, but of course you can't drink coffee on the MRT, so no point. You can grab a coffee on your way out, but not on your way in. And, oh shoot. Yeah, I just ran into a pole just there. I was just about to say how tired I am. I can't figure out what's going on. I'm exhausted. I just haven't been able to sleep. I was just telling a friend of mine that last night I was so tired. I went to bed at 7, and then I woke up at midnight. So I did sleep. I slept for like 5 hours, but that's it. So I've been awake since midnight. So my day started, 9.5 hours ago already. But despite the 5 hours of sleep, it didn't help my brain. Hence walking into poles and things like that. Yeah, here's the coffee bot. I'm a master at using the coffee bot, but I can't get a coffee now because you can't drink it on the train. So this is what's going on. I'm here, Masjid Jamek, and I'm going to Taman Jaya. 7 stops maybe? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 7 stops. Heading down to Taman Jaya. arrived, Tamanjaya station. It's always fun coming out in this direction. It's a little bit more residential feeling, as you can see when we were riding in here. It's still commercial. I mean, this is Malaysia after all, so you're going to have all kinds of giant buildings and businesses, things like that. But at the same time, when you come out here, you see more and more homes and trees and that sort of thing. And I think my GoPro shop is about 1 kilometer in that direction. So that's where we're heading next. Coming out of the Tamanjaya station, there didn't seem to be any possibility of getting out of the station or into the station on the other side of this busy road, or wide road. It doesn't look that busy right now. But yeah, that seemed kind of odd. Yeah, I don't see any stairs on the other side at all. So the only way to exit or enter is on this side. No possibility on the other side. That's kind of an odd design. It is a bit of a theme in Malaysia though, Kuala Lumpur in particular. Like there's not even a crosswalk here of any kind, nothing. Pedestrians are sort of forgotten in Malaysia as a rule. And there's Tamanjaya station up above me there. And let's start walking this way. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like it might be open. There's actually a very large A&W over there. Looks like a blast from the past. Very old building. Suits A&W because I think of it as something dating from the 70s maybe. I might take care of one other errand while I'm out here because I just realized that the Panasonic Malaysia service center is also somewhere out here in Petaling Jaya. So I may go there as well. Though I'm not quite sure if I really want to do it or not because I've got this Panasonic, okay, tech talk here. I'm gonna lose you, I'm sure, but I have a Panasonic lens, 12 to 35 millimeter zoom lens, really nice lens, but it developed fungus on the inside. But for me personally, I don't think the fungus would affect anything. I would just continue using the lens for now. It's only if you try to sell it, nobody will buy it because they see the fungus on the inside. And then no, you get there's no resale value until you get rid of the fungus completely. But I'm not entirely sure I want to sell the lens because it depends on cameras. It's a little bit of a heavy lens for me, but it's a very nice focal range for, you know, B-roll. When I was in Vietnam, I didn't even bring my Olympus camera and that Panasonic lens. I didn't want to add to the weight of my backpack, so I didn't even bring them with me. But I often wish I had it. It's very handy. It does a lot of things that a GoPro can't do. And it may not be the perfect camera and the perfect lens for me, but it's the camera and the lens I have. So why not use it if you have it, right? No sense wishing for the perfect camera when it's out there somewhere. The camera you have is the perfect camera because it's the one you have with you. But the whole camera question is a bit tricky because the camera body that I have is the Olympus OMD EM5 Mark II, which, if you know your cameras, that was the last Olympus OMD model that was still using contrast detect autofocus, which is very poor in video. So it's not really a camera that I'd want to use for a long time anyway. I'd much rather upgrade to, say, the Olympus EM5 Mark III, which introduced phase detect autofocus, but that's a major financial challenge to sell the 2 and get the 3. You're not going to get any money for the 2, to be honest, and the 3 still holds its value quite well. And then, yeah, and then and Olympus in general is probably not the best camera system for video. they're photo-centric cameras. They're meant for taking pictures, not for video. If you really want to take video, of course, then you're looking at Sony or Panasonic, brands like that. So anyway, whether or not I get this Panasonic lens cleaned or not depends on so many other factors. And not having it cleaned has the advantage of not spending any money. So who knows? Maybe for now maybe I'll go to the Panasonic service center, see what they say about cleaning the lens. Maybe they'll just say, wow, we can't do it. So that's the end of that. Here I am, and I got to check Google Maps, but I think I've got to get across this road to find, I think the GoPro center is in this mall area back there. Another challenging road system to get across, but check it out, a bridge. Got a pedestrian crossing. There's a big parking garage over here, so I guess they built the bridge to get people from the parking area over to the shopping area. All right. I'm about to undertake another verbal challenge, by the way. You can be the monitor to see whether I succeed or not. I've noticed that maybe I've always done this, but I seem to have fallen into a worse habit of saying a lot of and uhs. I'm speaking more slowly, thinking about what I'm going to say next, and I keep interjecting with and a lot lately. And now I'm going to try to stop saying that. So, if you hear me slapping myself a lot, it's because I've said or I've said I'm going to stop doing that from now on. I had a campaign a while back trying to train myself to stop saying and I haven't been that focused on it much lately, but I think I've managed to reduce how much I say so I'm kind of happy with that. Now I just have to make sure I'm aware of when I say and going to stop doing. Oh, did I just do it there? I'm going to stop it. Absolutely. Wow, that was really nice. Pedestrian overpass, pedestrian bridge. Love it. This whole neighborhood feels architecturally like a trip back in time, starting with that A&W and then a lot of the buildings. Look at this one. I'm no architectural expert, but I'm dating that from previous decades for sure. Very cool looking. I'm on the hunt, getting closer. It's down one of these alleyways, somewhere around here. I think it might be right over there, somewhere in that alley right there. I might be a bit early. According to Google Maps, they open at 10, or I should say he opens at 10, because I think it's a one-person shop. And it's 10:15 now. Being a one-person operation, he's probably a little bit casual about when he shows up and gets to work. But if nobody's there, I'll go looking for coffee. I just passed a Vietnamese restaurant, actually, right back there somewhere. So maybe I can. Just said But first, I think maybe I found it. I saw a sign there that said repair, new phone, Huawei, fast repair. I don't know if that's my place or not. I feel like I'm in the right neighborhood. There was a phone repair shop, and now there's a watch dealer, watch repair. And according to Google Maps, I'm supposed to go down this alleyway to finally find SKL, action camera repairs. So far, I'm not seeing it. I've been walking in and out of a bunch of these alleyways. I haven't found it yet. Got a dental clinic. Yeah, it doesn't pinpoint it exactly on Google Maps, in terms of its location. The pin has it sort of in the middle of the block, so I've been circling the entire block trying to locate it. Could be over here. No, big Nasi Ayam place. Well, I think it is this place, the one that I rejected at the beginning, because the name is supposed to be SKL. Well, there's nothing there that says SKL, but it does say repairing service. And yeah, let's find out if these are the people. So I guess I would call that success in a way, though I'm quickly running out of cameras. My GoPro Hero Black is on its way to Singapore. Hero 12 Black is on its way to Singapore. My Hero 9 Black is being repaired at SKL. My Olympus is at the Olympus Service Center. But luckily I have one other GoPro left that's keeping Planet Doug alive right now. But yeah, this was the place. The first one that I saw, it looks more like a smartphone repair shop. In case anyone comes looking for it, that's what you're looking for right there with the green sign. It says phone accessories, big Samsung blue sign out front, and right beside this 4D Magnum place. But that is the GoPro repair place right there. The challenge is that it's not SKL. Like on Google Maps, it's listed as SKL GoPro Repair. But technically, it's another shop altogether. It's just that the GoPro repair guy, who is SKL, he works out of that shop, but he doesn't actually work in that shop, if that makes any sense. So they had this whole system. I was so confused when the guy was running me through their system, because I didn't quite understand why we were doing the things we were doing, because I thought I was talking to the GoPro repair guy, but he was talking to me like he wasn't. And I was like, okay, what exactly is going on here? So I got him to connect with me on WhatsApp, because he says, oh, what's your WhatsApp number? What's your WhatsApp number? And I says, well, it's easier if you just scan, right? So I open up my phone, I get out the QR code, he scans it, now he has me as a contact, and I figure we're all done. But it turns out he wasn't doing that to make me a contact. He was only doing that to see the number. And then he writes the number down on the GoPro itself on a piece of masking tape or a label of some kind. And I'm like, okay, why is he doing that exactly? I didn't understand. And then he started asking me a whole bunch of questions about how I found the store, how I got there, all these sorts of things. And then he told me to open up the store's address on Google Maps to show him. And again, I'm wondering, I have no idea why I need to do that. But anyway, so I got out my phone, opened up Google Maps, I opened up the listing for SKL, and then he scrolled down on the SKL listing and he found a phone number for SKL and says, okay, now enter this in your phone. And I'm like, well, why do I have to do that? I'm standing right in front of you. We just connected on WhatsApp. But then I finally figured out, he's not SKL. This other guy is SKL. So he was giving me the phone number of SKL, which was another man completely, so I could add him to my WhatsApp contacts. I don't add this store to my contacts. I add the other guy to my contacts. And then he says, okay, now take a picture of your GoPro, the one I'm having repaired. And I was like, why would I want to take a picture of it? He said, but I said, okay, I'll take a picture. And then he turned it over and opened up the end to show that it had no battery, no memory card, no battery door. So he was making sure I had a photograph of the GoPro in the condition in which I'm giving it to him, just so there are no misunderstandings. Okay, cool system. So I took a couple of pictures of the GoPro. We kept moving it into different orientations, like a photo shoot. And then he says, okay, now send all these pictures to the SKL guy. So all right. So now he was in my WhatsApp, and I sent this guy all of the photographs of my GoPro that I took inside that store. So I guess now SKL, he's at his house somewhere at his shop, and now he's going to come pick up my GoPro and then work on it, and then he'll contact me. Does that make any sense at all to you? It does make sense to me now. It did not at the time, but I finally figured it out because I did ask the guy. I said, okay, so you're not the technician? And he says, oh yeah, I am the technician, but he's the technician. So I was like, okay, I think I got you. You're the smartphone technician. He's the GoPro technician. And he says, no, I'm the technician. I'm the boss. He's the technician. So, so he's the owner, manager. This other guy works for him or works out of whatever is going on. They have my other GoPro, and maybe they'll be able to fix it. So anyway, I'm about half an hour's walk away from Panasonic, and I know I shouldn't attempt it. As I've already said, Kuala Lumpur is not a city for walking. It really isn't, but it's not that far away in terms of distance. Half an hour, no big deal. I'm probably gonna have to cross all kinds of highway systems and things, but anyway, let's give it a try. I'm gonna try to walk to Panasonic now, and I think Panasonic is in this direction. Check out this, this is crazy. Yeah, Kuala Lumpur is such an unusual city for pedestrians, because right here, look at that. There's nothing difficult about crossing that, right? There's really not a big deal to walk across that as a pedestrian, and yet look at what they built to go across it. It's like a massive construction here. It's huge. And yet I don't think anyone ever needs it, really. But I'm gonna go across it because I'm an insane pedestrian. And when I see a pedestrian bridge, I am going to use it, whether I need it or not. But yeah, this is so weird. Sometimes you need one of these bridges and it doesn't exist. Oh, now I get it. Oh, okay. It's part of a larger bridge. That's the actual pedestrian bridge up there. Okay, to get across this highway. Yeah. You need a pedestrian bridge for that road system. But while you're up there, they figured, oh, we might as well extend it over to there. Even though, as you can see, it's pretty easy to walk across here. But I'm gonna go up on the bridge anyway. Let's do it. Yeah, this is what you're dealing with in Kuala Lumpur, or Malaysia in general. Getting across these road systems is not always that easy. But hey, they built a giant bridge here, so that's cool. And then somebody said, hey, well, since we're building this much bridge, why don't we build an extension? And I guess, well, let me look on Google Maps. I don't know whether I should be on this side or that side. If I need to be on that side, I better cross over first. Let me check Google Maps. It's a tough call, I can't tell. The road goes around a corner here, and then there's a big highway system we have to get across. And I can't tell if I should be on the left or the right. But right over here, of course, if I stay on the left, you can see I've got to get across all of those roads. And if over here, I can just stay right on the sidewalk. So I've chosen the right side of the road. And we'll see whether I can get across that highway or not. Repair situations like that are always a little bit interesting for me, because not to toot my own horn, but when I finally get around to going into a repair shop like that, I generally know what I'm talking about. I don't know much, but in life, one thing I do know, it's GoPros. I know a lot about GoPros. And before I finally go to a repair shop, I will have investigated and troubleshoot. I'll test everything. I'll do every diagnostic test. I will troubleshoot over and over. So I kind of know what I'm talking about. And then when I walk into one of those shops, usually the person I'm talking to, they don't know as much as I do. And then they end up going down all these dead ends, saying a bunch of things that aren't true. And I can tell right away they don't really know what they're talking about. Like this guy, I don't think he's the GoPro guy. He was the smartphone guy. So maybe the GoPro guy would be up to speed. But the thing is, when you put the GoPro into a media mod and it makes a connection through the USB-C, then a button shows up on the rear screen. There's a media mod button. Normally it's grayed out, but as soon as you plug it into a media mod, that button becomes active, and with that button you can choose what microphone you want to use. You know, the external microphone, the media mod microphone, front or back. You get a menu system for how to communicate with the media mod. And with that GoPro, you put it in, the media mod button stays grayed out. It does not connect. And this guy kept talking about, we have to do this, we have to do that. And I kept trying to explain to him that all the things you're talking about, I've already done 100 times. In fact, this GoPro has been in this condition for years. It stopped working years ago. I just never bothered to get it fixed. So it's not like it just happened yesterday and all he needs to do is, you know, blow on it and it will fix it, right? So, but anyway, he didn't seem to know about what happens when you plug in the media mod, even what the media mod is for. He didn't seem to know what its purpose was. Maybe I misread him, because we did have a language barrier as well. But I found, just in general, I find that to be the case, that I often know a lot more than the technician that I'm talking to, at least in terms of the overall situation. Obviously, the GoPro guy himself, he knows more than I do if he's able to fix it. I know a lot about how it's supposed to work. I just don't know how to fix it. I don't know about the electronics. So, here we go. It's looking promising in terms of getting across the highway, because this is actually a cycling trail. Has a bicycle mark on it there. So if it does, I'm assuming it will continue all the way over the bridge, over the highway. Quite often when you walk around KL, these bridges are inaccessible to pedestrians, but it looks like this one is okay. I'll find out in a couple of minutes. Such an urban landscape here in KL. That's looking back, that's where I came from. Sunrise Hotel over there. Wisma Thrifty, that looks to be shut down. But then we've got one of the giant buildings over there. Beautiful blue sky today. Another interesting building over there. And right here we've got the Hilton. Hilton Petaling Jaya. And then behind it, a couple of big towers. Pinnacle, one of them. Oh, the Pinnacle Petaling Jaya. I'm walking among giants here. The highway system over here. And right across the highway is Pinnacle Petaling Jaya. One other big difference I noticed right away between Vietnam. Like when I went to Vietnam, when I first arrived, I noticed the traffic lights operated differently. They have a different timing. In Saigon, the lights change about every 35 seconds, every 40 seconds. They're very, very rapid. And in Kuala Lumpur, they can last for a very long time. You get stuck at a red light, you could be there for 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes. It feels like an eternity while you're waiting. And then when you get accustomed to the rapid fire pace of the Vietnam traffic lights, the lighting system here in KL suddenly seems glacial by comparison. It seems so slow. I'm sure the people that study this, who know about traffic flow, they must have made a decision about the trade-off in terms of keeping the traffic moving. What's better, fast lights or long lights? I have a suspicion that in general, a shorter light frequency, that benefits pedestrians. I know it feels good, feels so much better. And I think a longer light frequency, that's better for drivers, for car flow, I think in general. And if that's the case, it makes sense because Saigon has a lot more pedestrian traffic, a lot more people on scooters, slower traffic, things like that. Like here in Kuala Lumpur, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 scooters went by. But as you can see, it's pretty much cars. It's all car, truck, and bus traffic here in Malaysia for the most part. Vietnam has a lot more people walking, people on scooters, things like that. And then it would make sense that they use faster lights there because they have more pedestrians. My route is taking me past the Asia Jaya station, which is interesting. That was the next one after Taman Jaya. Looking back at the pinnacle, and I was just chatting with this poor guy up ahead of me. We were waiting for the light to change and his scooter broke down. I asked him whether he just ran out of gas or something, but he said no, it broke down. So he has to push it to a repair shop, some kind of a service center. And I was just chatting with him saying that, yeah, in Kuala Lumpur, it's hard enough just walking. And to have to walk while pushing a scooter, it's even more challenging. I know from experience that scooters are surprisingly heavy. You ride them around all the time and they seem to go everywhere so effortlessly. They feel very lightweight, but that's only because of the engine. As soon as it breaks down and you're pushing it yourself, it's like, whoa, this thing is heavy. And yeah, comes as a surprise. Well, this looks pretty cool. Here I am talking about how there's nothing set up in Kuala Lumpur for pedestrians, and it looks like I get to use another pedestrian bridge. It's crazy. Look at the size of that one. But yeah, you need it to get across this highway system too. I think that's where I need to go. Or, yeah, even if I think I have to go down that road there, but either way, I've got to get across this. And the city planners built a pedestrian bridge just for me. Awesome. Yeah, look at the size of this beast. Slice of life right there. Police car with sirens, and the van following that car has a screen, open screen on the back so you could see inside. And I could see all the men inside there in orange prisoner jumpsuits. Poor guys. Imagine the life they're off to. All right. Getting to the other side. Oh, I was gonna say, I thought I had to choose whether to go right or left, but not this way. That's a school ground, barbed wire, gate H. Luckily, this one is open. Yeah, I conquered another pedestrian bridge. There's the Jaya Shopping Center. I remember seeing it many times going by on the LRT. I have to cross over again. A lot of traffic here too. I think the main light there has to turn red or green before I'll be able to get across here. It's a pretty steady flow. Yeah, I didn't see any pedestrian crossings up ahead that direction, so I have no choice but to try to get across the road itself. Looks like the light changed. This is my chance. Zeroing in on Panasonic, at least according to Google Maps. Getting closer. It's just up there, and then hit an intersection, turn right, and it should be the main service center for Malaysia, Panasonic. And we will find out what they have to say about fixing or cleaning fungus out of a camera lens. I'm assuming that at this location they won't really be able to tell me anything, because I think it's mainly to do with Panasonic in general. Microwaves, kitchen appliances, refrigerators, whatever Panasonic makes. It's not specifically a camera center. So they can probably, if they can take it at all, they have to take it in, send it away somewhere, I think. But anyway, just thought I'd come by. My instinct is just not to bother, because the lens is perfectly usable as it is. And as I said, if I get my Olympus camera back from Olympus, I have a working lens for it. Though I'm not thrilled at the thought of carrying it around, because it is relatively heavy for the number of times I would end up using it. But we shall see. Figure this all out. Excitement is building on Planet Doug. I just spotted a sign there, a very large sign that says Panasonic. So Google Maps didn't lie to me about its location. Well, here it is. There's a Panasonic van and a very large building, another large building. Remains to be seen whether this is the actual consumer location. It's quite possible that this is just a corporate center where all the shipments move in and out, and this isn't actually where human beings go when they have a problem with their Panasonic appliance. I don't know. We shall find out. Does it look friendly or not? It definitely doesn't look friendly in particular, but the gate is open. This is the exit, so I won't even try to walk through there. You're starting to see more and more Malaysian flags for the upcoming holidays. Panasonic Service Center. Yeah, I'm in the right spot. In life, there are often difficult decisions to make, But at least in this case, Panasonic made it very easy for me to make a decision. There was no hemming or hawing going on here. They said that to clean this lens of the tiny bit of fungus that's in there would cost 750 ringgit, which is like $170, $180 US. And so the woman said that to me, and then she looked at me and said, so is that okay for you? Shall we do that? And I was like, no, I don't think so. This is a very easy decision to make. That's too expensive. I don't want to spend $170 to clean the fungus out of this lens. So yeah, no, definitely not. I guess that's how corporations are corporations. It's very different from dealing with a small shop. It's sort of like my MacBook, I think. I brought my MacBook to a small local repair shop where they can take the time to take it apart, diagnose it, find the small problem, fix it, and it costs a relatively small amount of money. But I'm pretty sure if I brought my MacBook to an official Apple service center, the price would have been $400 or something like that, right? That's just how it goes. So yeah, when I brought this lens to YL Camera, they looked at it and said they could do it. It would cost 250 ringgit. That was their charge for cleaning a lens, a fungus out of lenses. But they suggested that I check with Panasonic first because it is a fairly complicated lens. And they thought maybe the technicians at Panasonic might be more experienced with working on a lens like that. So check with them first, which I have done. And no, I will not be leaving it with Panasonic. I may not even spend the 250 ringgit. Be worth it. If I decide to just use the lens myself, maybe I can leave it out in the sun for 30 minutes every day with the lens cap off or something and just see if that actually clears up the fungus, expose it to sunshine. Because I haven't really used this lens in a long time, so it's never exposed to sunshine. So anyway, for now, easy decision. They were very nice there though, very efficient. I walked into the service center and a woman actually walked up to me, not even sitting at a desk or an information counter. She just happened to be coming in at the same time I was, and she worked there and says, oh, excuse me, sir, can I help you? What are you here to do? And I said, I'm here to have a lens looked at, repairs. And they have a little machine there. You click on the button that says repairs. You enter your name and your phone number. It gives you a slip of paper with a number on it. Wait for your number to be called and go sit at the counter. It took like 5 minutes at the most. Not even that, I don't think. Very pleasant woman. And they gave me the quote right away. That's the one thing I was worried about, that this would turn into a long drawn out process where it says, well, leave it with us and we'll send it to Singapore. We'll find out whether it can be repaired or not. And then it'll be 6 months. We'll give you a quote. I thought it was going to turn into a long drawn out affair. But she said, well, let me go check whether we can even fix this lens or not. I didn't actually like the language she kept using because she kept talking about fixing the lens, repairing the lens. And I said, again, it's not a repair. The lens is perfectly functional. There's nothing to be fixed. It's just, there's fungus on the inside. They have to open it up, clean the lens elements, get rid of the fungus and put it back together. It's not repairs. But she did keep saying repair, fix. And then she said, well, let me go bring it to the back. And she brought it back, and I guess she showed it to their technicians, and they checked it on their computer to see whether this particular lens, they still have the ability to service it. If they needed to replace something, do they have the parts? And she came back and says, yeah, we can fix this lens for you. She was very nice, very helpful. And she just assumed I was going to do it. She was a little bit surprised when I said, no, that's too expensive for me. But no, very nice place. Very friendly, good customer service, good systems. But the price was a bit high for my taste right now. So yeah, I've got my lens in my knapsack, taking it home back to my hotel. Retracing my footsteps across all the pedestrian bridges. It's a lot faster going back as a rule because you don't have to stop and check Google Maps. you know where to go because you've been here before. The last couple of days I've been checking out 2 YouTube channels. Thought I'd talk about them a little bit as I walk back to the Asia Jaya LRT station. One of them, I've seen their videos before a long time ago, but I went back to check them out again because I realized they were in Vietnam and they shot a bunch of travel videos in Vietnam. So I was curious what they did, where they went, what they had to say, how they film their videos, how they edit them, what their perspective is on everything, whether they're popular or not, all of that stuff. Yeah, it was really interesting. This one was called, the channel was called Mike and Ashley, American couple. I assume they're married. It didn't come up, but they're a couple traveling together. Mike and Ashley. In their, if I had to hazard a guess, how old would they be? In their 30s? Late 30s? I'm terrible with how old people are. I can never guess. But younger than me, but they're not kids either. And a lot of things jumped out at me about their channel. And the main idea I had in my head, I have this thought about a lot of YouTube channels, was the relationship between what the video portrays and what the experience was like. So, for example, they might go to a city like Saigon or Dalat, and in their minds, it's pretty clear to me that when they were going there, their focus, their goal was to shoot a video. They're very professional, so they shoot a lot of B-roll. They don't just wander around with a GoPro like I do and just shoot whatever. They're very careful to pick out specific places to go that they know are popular places that are scenic. They'll track down a famous restaurant, a famous coffee shop, a beautiful place that they know it's going to look good on video and that people will enjoy seeing in a video. And then when they go there, they make sure to get B-roll, a lot of nice camera movement, which I was pretty impressed with. They don't just shoot the flower pot to get B-roll at the restaurant. They move the camera around the flower, or they kind of zoom in, or they pan, zoom out. They do fancy stuff. They got nice camera gear. And then it seems like they stay for only a short time. So I think I watched their video from Kuala Lumpur, and I think they spent 1 day in Kuala Lumpur, but they went everywhere. So like all the major sites in Kuala Lumpur, from Chinatown Market to Batu Caves to this, to that, to the other. They spent, and Petronas Towers, they went to all of them in 1 day, filmed all of them, and did a very nice job and made a nice video out of it. And then they moved on to the next place. So by doing that, they produced a very attractive, professionally done video in a short amount of time. But would you want to replicate that experience? I know I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to spend 1 day in Kuala Lumpur. So you see what I mean? They were focused on making the video. They weren't... Wow. Fire truck, and I noticed one of the firefighters, he threw his lit cigarette out the window. That was pretty funny. He was sitting out the window side of the fire truck, and he's like, took a drag on his cigarette, threw it out the window. Setting fires as they go, not setting a good example. But anyway, yeah, I wouldn't want to spend 1 day in Kuala Lumpur. But if you are a professional YouTuber and your main focus is to make the video, I guess that's the sort of thing that you would do. And I saw that pattern in their YouTube channel overall. And one other thing I noticed about them is how organized they were in terms of their gear. And I struggle with that a little bit myself. So I'm always looking at how other people do things, what cameras they use, what grips they use. power bars, adapters. By the time I put together all the gear that I tend to need on a day-to-day basis, it's quite a big, heavy pile. And when I pick up my backpack to go to the airport or get on a bus, I feel it. I was like, oh man, that is, whew, I wish that was lighter. But when I was watching Mike and Ashley packing up and getting ready, they didn't seem to struggle as much with the weight, even though I think their camera gear is bigger, heavier, and more professional than mine, and yet their backpacks were smaller, lighter, and they seem to be able to carry them around pretty easily. So I was wondering where I was going wrong. And of course, one difference is there's two of them, so they might have one good camera, but they share the weight, right? It's two backpacks. Everything I carry, there's only one person. So, and they might have one laptop, but for two people, etc. So it's different when you're on your own. And I noticed with the filming, a lot of the things that they did that seemed so effortless, they could do it because there were two of them. So when they go through a market, it's not nearly as difficult because he would hold the camera, follow her around, and then she would go up to the market stall, talk to the seller, get the food, try it out, and he's just holding the camera the whole time. Then they switch. She takes the camera and he walks around and buys the next snack. And when you're by yourself, of course, like right now, I'm holding the camera. And if I wanted to stop to get something to eat, filming it is a challenge, physically and emotionally, and just in terms of the amount of energy that it requires. So I do like that. And I noticed that, unlike me, they don't record any of the logistics, really. They jump right to the good stuff. They're not pontificating about random bits of trivia. They're not showing how they got to where they wanted to go, how they got the information, all of the struggles. They just show up at the beautiful restaurant and don't worry about everything else. So I found that kind of interesting watching their videos. I learned a lot from them. Could be inspiring. And to be honest, it was watching their B-roll that made me think, you know what? Maybe I should keep my Olympus and my Panasonic lens. It's not that great for vlogging. I can't hold it like this because it's too big and heavy, but I could use it in markets to capture B-roll if I wanted to get a little bit fancier from time to time. And as I said earlier, it's not like I have to go out and buy a camera to get B-roll. I already have it. It's just a matter of whether I carry it around with me and use it or not. So yeah, so that was Ken and Ashley, and I'm not finished with their Vietnam series yet. I've watched a few of them. I'm going to work my way through the rest of them. Anyway, I think I'm at the Asia Jaya LRT station. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so there's the LRT sign, Asia Jaya. On my way back into town, I just happened to be passing by the LRT stop, Abdul Hukam, which is right over there. And you can get off here to go visit the Mid-Valley Mega Mall. And just for fun, I thought I would pop inside there. And here's the city around the Mid-Valley Mega Mall. More towers out in that direction. Giant tower up here. And you actually go through this bridge. There's the Abdullah Hukam LRT station, and now they have a bridge connecting it to this mall called SKL Eco City. But then there's another fancy, the Gardens Mall or something like that right here. Assuming I get off at the right place. I think I did. And then you can go through the Garden Mall to get to Mid-Valley Mall, I believe. So we'll see whether I'm at the right spot. Yes, I'm on the right track. Mid-Valley City, the Gardens Mall, this way. lunchtime right now, so all the people are coming out of the office buildings and they're all heading into the malls for lunch. It's going to be pretty busy. But in the old days, there was no bridge. So if you took the LRT, this is where you ended up, on this side of the river. And it was nearly impossible to get to the mall this way. As you can see, you would have to navigate that big highway system. I did it a couple of times, actually walking across all of that. But yeah, it was pretty crazy to do. And then they finally built this bridge. Gets you a pedestrian bridge, gets you across this highway system. Because yeah, when I walked across, I would walk across things like this. You're not really supposed to walk anywhere there, but you walk against the traffic and get it. That was before I knew KL. I was still trying to find my way around, figure the city out. And when you looked at the map, you saw the LRT station over here. The mall was over there. It just seemed like you'd be able to walk there without any problem. But back in those days, before the bridge, you couldn't do it at all. It was really difficult. So yeah, much nicer now that the bridge has been completed. Bridges are always awesome. You get you get a river, and then you get sort of an opening. So you get to see a little bit of the city around you. And there's KL on this side. And if you cross over to the other side of the bridge, there's just more towers. Unbelievable. Yeah, there's the Gardens Mall, that brown wall, that's the Gardens Mall. And that's a fancy mall, like a luxury brands mall. But you have to walk through it to get to the normal shopping mall. The normal mall for normal people. This is Center Court at the Mega Mall. In order to navigate this mall, you have to remember the different courts. The center one is the most important because if you want to leave, you navigate back to Center Court, turn around, and then you head in that direction. That brings you to Gardens Mall, and then back to the LRT station. So this is where you get oriented. Center Court, where you remember whether you turn left or right or go up to the next floor, whatever you want to do to find the shop of your dreams. And to be honest, I'm here to look at the Osprey store. They actually have a dedicated, at least they used to, an Osprey backpack store. It's all they sell. And I have an Osprey backpack. And from time to time, I like to look at the other Osprey products. And I was thinking about it because the YouTubers that I was talking about, Mike and Ashley, they both have Osprey backpacks, but they have a different model than mine. I have the full-on trekking bag. So you can use it for traveling, but you can also use it for camping, like hiking into the mountains. So it's 75 liters. It's quite large. And they use, I believe, the 55-liter version of that bag. So it would be smaller and lighter. And yeah, just for fun, I wanted to go into Osprey, take a look at the bag that they use, and just sort of compare it to the one I have in terms of just how does it look in terms of bulk, how does it feel in terms of weight, that sort of thing. The trick, though, is you have to find Osprey, and I always struggle with that. I remember last time I was here, I tried so hard to find the Teva store, and I could not find it anywhere. It took so long. And now today, there it is right there when I don't need them. So easy to find. But anyway, I'm going to try and find Osprey. Not surprisingly, I'm having my usual issues. I can't find this store anywhere. I've been going around and around and around, up and down every floor. I see it on Google Maps. According to Google Maps, I'm 50 meters away from it all the time. But I cannot find it. And there's no maps here, like no mall directories or anything like that. So yeah, anyway, I'll keep wandering around. I may or may not find it. Shopping malls, man. I get lost every single time. And I've been to Osprey many times. I've been to the store before. And when you look on Google Maps, it doesn't tell you anything. Like, I need to know what floor it's on, and it says Lot S, but I don't know what Lot S means. Anyway, I'll find it eventually, just not yet. But there is a Thunder Match here, big electronics, a mega store. So I'm gonna go into Thunder Match for a little while, look around, put my GoPro away. No point walking around that electronics store with electronics in your hand. That's just asking for trouble. So I'm gonna put you away on the GoPro, and when I find Osprey, I'll come back. Success, I found it. The secret is, like on Google Maps, the address was correct. S, I said Lot S, something, something. But I didn't know what Lot S was, but S stands for second. So rather than the number 2, they use the letter S for the word second. Why they call it Lot S rather than Level S or Floor S, that I don't know. But anyway, it's on the second floor, whatever that is. Ground floor, then first floor, then second floor. But they don't use numbers, they use letters. But I finally found it. So yeah, all they sell here is Osprey. So in the window, nothing but Osprey products. All of these, this entire wall here, backpacks, full-sized ones. And then on the other side, more like day packs and school bags and things like that. But everything in here is Osprey. So this is what I came in to see. This is the new version of my bag, the Farpoint Trek 75. And occasionally there have been times when I wondered whether that bag was too big and heavy for my needs, because I'm not really carrying camping gear anymore, so I don't need a full-sized camping backpack. So I was wondering whether the smaller version right here, Farpoint Trek 55, would be more suitable to me. Going from 75 liters down to 55, so it's 20 liters smaller. But I thought the weight would be also significantly lighter, but it really isn't. The difference in weight is less than half a pound. So this one is 0.4 pounds heavier than this one. And for 0.4 pounds more, you get 20 more liters of volume and a bunch of other features that the 55 liter doesn't have. Anyway, I'm glad I came to take a look at them, because it reassured me that I'm better off with what I have. 55 would be smaller, sure, but it's not any lighter. And it's really the size that matters to me. I mean, it's really the weight that matters to me, not the size. So anyway, there it is. Mine is a different color. Mine is more of a nicer color, I think, more of a blue than this black. Oh, actually, it's the same color as my knapsack. It's a matching set. So this is the same color as my, doesn't look that great on my GoPro screen. But anyway, it's a really nice blue. But that's the day pack that goes along with the Farpoint Trek. So anyway, and they have some other models here, which are kind of interesting. Like this one here is kind of cool because it has a full-sized harness system, a lighter harness, because it has wheels and then a handle built into it. So it's half backpack, half roller suitcase, which is a very cool concept, except that it's much heavier. Yeah, it's over 6 pounds. Yeah, 2.8 kilograms. So the wheels adds a lot of weight. So I'm happier with a more traditional kind of bag. So anyway, I found Osprey. Here it is. Yeah, they have really high quality bags. Nice design too. I like them a lot. And this is the one that Mike and Ashley, I think they use this one. I'm not sure though. They might have one with wheels. I'm not sure, but they have a 55 liter Osprey as opposed to a 75 liter. That's why I wanted to come in, check them out. And that's about it for the Mid-Valley Mega Mall. I had a good time in Thunder Match. A little bit disappointing though in a way for me, because I went to Thunder Match at New Central to buy an SSD drive that I wanted, but they didn't have it. They said, yeah, we don't have any of those in stock. So I brought a different brand I wasn't quite as happy with, but I don't know. It's hard to say which is the better brand. But now I went into this Thunder Match, and it's a much bigger one. They have everything. They have the brand I was looking for. They have all the sizes, all the different models. So I should have come here first to the Mid-Valley Thunder Match. It's a much bigger one. So if you need memory cards, SSD drives, here's the place to go, the Thunder Match here. But yeah, here's the, what end is it? Okay, South Court. There's a South Court, a Central Court, and then a North Court. And there's the sky at South Court. Now I'm turning around, heading back to Central Court, and heading back into the LRT. This is the courtyard between the Gardens Mall and the Mega Mall, by the way. So there's gardens on that side, and there's a circular sort of fountain. And over there is the Mega Mall. Just came out from there, Mid-Valley Mega Mall. You can take another train from there, the KTM train as well. But now that there's a bridge going to the LRT, for me it's the more convenient way to go. The KTM trains are not as frequent. So, into the Garden Mall, or Gardens Mall, I should say. It's kind of a cool perspective on the mall itself. You can see the design and the architecture up above. This is the Gardens Mall, as I said. Yeah, very cool the way they have the pedestrian walkways zigzagging across on an angle. Similar design to the Mega Mall when you think about it, because they also base this mall on central courtyards, or I should say circular courtyards. So this is the circular courtyard near the LRT station. Looking straight up, and it's a rounded courtyard. And then off in this direction, off to the LRT. I think you have to go up a floor or two to get to the pedestrian bridge over the highway. It's a little bit tucked away, not always that easy to find. This is the Abdullah Hukam LRT station entrance, but it's actually quite small. It's just a narrow doorway that you have to find. And this leads you here over to the tunnel. Or bridge, I should say. A tunnel leading to the bridge. Which, as I mentioned when I arrived here, it's pretty essential. You know, it's like you're not getting across this very easily on foot without this bridge. I guess this is the first complex you get to when you come out of Abdullah Hukam, the KL Eco City. I don't know if you call it a shopping mall or just some sort of a building complex. That's it there, the Eco City. And then across the river and the highway system, there's the Gardens Mall. During my time in KL, I've become an expert in the shopping centers. Not that I do a lot of shopping, not a lot of buying anyway, but I visit them quite often when I'm looking for camera stores, little gadgets, adapters, electronics. I always end up in these malls, so I know a little bit about them. And then from here, we dive into the LRT system back to my hotel. Back in my neighborhood, Masjid Jamek area. You can always tell that because as I come out of the MRT station, I see the tower. KL Tower is right there. Well, now it's hidden behind the trees, but trust me, it is right there. And as I was coming back here, I watched part of another one of the videos from Mike and Ashley. And I mean, to be honest, I think what I admire about their videos is more about the technical side of it. Just the, I suppose, the video quality, the audio quality, sort of a sense of ease that's in their videos. And I'm thinking about how they achieve that. The content itself is not designed to appeal to someone like me. I guess it's more pretty standard holiday stuff, vacation, tourism, going to the various cities along the coast of Vietnam. They're just out there looking at whatever the local attractions are and then finding a nice cafe and a nice restaurant, things like that. So it's not really the content that kind of attracts me to their channel. It's just more about the editing technique. I'm watching it to see how they do things and the gear that they're using. One big difference is, of course, that they have a drone. That's always a big thing. Seems like for a popular YouTube channel, a drone is almost essential now, it seems. People expect some drone footage, and if you don't have one, you're not flying a drone. Yeah, it doesn't really work. And the other channel, I'm almost back at my hotel, so I'll just mention it briefly, is a channel called Little Chinese Everywhere. I don't know what the name of the channel means. I've only watched a few of her videos, and I went back to the beginning of her channel. It was only like 2 years ago she started, and started watching her videos for two reasons. One is that someone recommended one of her videos because she posted one of those typical I hate GoPro videos. Anybody who used to use a GoPro and has switched to a DJI Action 4 or a Pocket 3 or something like that, they often post a video. You know, they're sort of leaving GoPro behind, so it's kind of fun to make a video and kick GoPro in the teeth and talk about all the reasons you're never ever going to use a GoPro ever again. I always enjoy watching those videos. So anyway, someone told me she posted the I won't use GoPro anymore video, so I watched that. Oh, guy on a bike just went by. The 360 camera stuck on the helmet. He's a cyclist. He's filming with a 360 camera. Looks like a big antenna on top of his head. But then I started looking at her videos, and very popular. All of her videos get like standard between 50,000 and maybe 200,000 views, hundreds of comments, and then she has a few videos going up into the millions of views, so her channel is very popular. So I went back in time, and I guess she started her channel when she was in Sweden or Switzerland as a student from China, and then COVID came along and screwed everything up for everybody. And flights, she needed to go home to China, but flights were really expensive because of COVID. And she decided that instead of spending all that money on a really expensive flight, she was going to try to take that money and travel overland instead. So she could basically, on her channel, market her videos like a woman alone, traveling solo, 8,000 miles through 69 countries, this kind of big adventure, being a woman traveling alone. That always seems to be very popular on YouTube. And I always joke about stuff like that, about how I should post videos like this morning, I brushed my teeth solo. I went to Starbucks all by myself. Some sort of a big achievement. But yeah, so her channel is only like 2 years old, but she's getting hundreds of thousands, even millions of views. And I thought, well, why is that? I was expecting something really spectacular because of how popular her videos were and how much everybody seemed to admire her and what she was doing and talking about the video quality and the shooting and the editing, all that stuff. So I started watching a few, and I mean, they're nice, but they didn't jump out at me as anything particularly special. The things she was saying, the things she was filming, the things she was doing, to be honest, I didn't see very much in the videos to justify millions of views and so much praise. So I'm a little bit puzzled by that. I'm often a little bit puzzled on YouTube. I see some videos that I think are exceptional, but nobody watches them. And then I see some fairly ordinary views. There's nothing wrong with Little Chinese Everywhere. Her videos are fine. I enjoy them. She does a lot of traveling on motorcycles and scooters, things like that. A little bit of an adventure flavor to it, like Itchy Boots, a woman riding by herself through the countryside on some sort of a motorized vehicle. So yeah, people enjoy watching that. I do too. But I didn't see anything so amazing about it. I thought, I mean, I could make a video like that, I think. Anyway. So yeah, as I was saying, I don't really understand the title. She is from China, so she's Chinese, but I don't know what Little Chinese Everywhere means, like the Chinese language. She's not very big, she's kind of a tiny person, so is she like a little Chinese person going everywhere? Or is it everywhere she goes in the world, she sees a little bit of Chinese culture everywhere she goes? Anyway, I don't know what Little Chinese Everywhere means, but I'll watch some more of her videos. I'm enjoying them. And with that, I think that's the end of my thoughts. That's the end of my errands for today. Yeah, sun is really beating down. Relatively successful day, I guess. Yeah, I dropped off my GoPro, my Hero 9 Black. We'll wait to see what the guy says about that. And I found out that it's pretty expensive to fix my Panasonic lens. Not fix it, clean my Panasonic lens. So I'm probably not going to bother doing that. At least I know now I got that figured out. So that's it. Shutting down once more. Another errand run video on Planet Doug. And perhaps more errands to run in KL. I'll see you in the next video.